Good Sunday morning, everybody. Chris Allen here with Weather Stick, sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace. Here on the SAM channel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter on this 12th day of March. A Sunday morning coming down. The rain has been coming down, but the weather stick is blue. So that means no worries here, just general rainfall. And most of that is pretty much over with for southern Kentucky, except for the far eastern part, central and eastern part of Kentucky. There you see it moving away in pretty good fashion. Now you see all the little broken lines there. That is indicating the straws. That one looks like a bent straw where the moisture is just being sucked up into that. And you see another one here back to the west, although it's fairly dry. But these little disturbances coming across, they're going to eventually not only shut off the rain as each one passes by, each one is drier than the other one. As you can see, this first one still producing a lot of rain to the east, but to the west, things are pretty quiet. We are still going to be socked in with clouds, though, I think, today. So it is going to be a mainly cloudy day. The rains are pretty much over for southern Kentucky and the Sam listening area. So, but drizzle, low clouds, yeah, that's going to be pretty typical of the leftovers, if you will, of the system as it passes by. The more produced weather, if you will, the more pronounced weather is further south with a couple of areas of low pressure over the Tennessee Valley. But they're close enough to where we're just going to keep some low clouds and drizzle in the forecast for today and maybe even into this evening, as you'll see. Looking at the 10-day model blender, we do see a warm up coming. In fact, a couple of them. Once we get past this chilly period, by the way, yesterday's high was 53. We're looking at about that or close to it, low 50s today. 53 was the high at the airport. 58 is the average high for the day. So we were 5 degrees cooler than average, and we're going to be close to that again today. But the two chilliest days still yet to come are tomorrow and Tuesday. As you can see, we're only going to be in the mid to upper 40s with lows getting down below freezing. Now, that's key because some of you have already put out some vegetation for the spring growing season. If you've put out some early flowers, if you put out, I don't know what crops would be out right now necessarily, but if you're doing any kind of spring planting, unless it's a very, very hardy plant, you risk losing it come tomorrow night, pretty close to tonight, although we're going to get down to 31. Better chance of losing any kind of new vegetation or plants on Monday night and into Tuesday night when you see those lows dipping into the mid and upper 20s. So it's almost like winter's not quite done, even though we're only days away from the official beginning of spring. And then, of course, this morning, we have daylight saving time, which took effect. So hopefully you set your clocks ahead 1 hour because the current time that I'm doing this is not 4:20, it's 5:20. Okay. Spring forward. Yeah, hopefully you did that. Okay, the rest of the blender showing a big warm up coming by the middle of the week and the end of the week ahead. We'll return back into the 60s. Then we see another temporary couple of days of cooler weather for Saturday and Sunday, almost like this past weekend. And then we warm right back up after that into the 60s. Again, whatever hits of chilly air we get, or even cold air that brings some frost or a hard freeze, like on Monday night and Tuesday night, it's going to be a short lived type of situation as we continue the transition from winter to spring, but just know that you need to take care of those plants if you've already set them out. All right, let's check temperatures as of 5:21 this morning as I record this podcast, not 4:21, 5:21. Here is a look at the Kentucky mesonet map, and it's chilly, yes, a chilly rain, and at times there have been a few snowflakes that have been noted in with the rain as temperatures are just slightly above freezing in the northern, north central, and northeastern part of the state. Once you get, say, past or south of Lexington, Danville area, Bardstown, it's mostly rain, and for the rest of the state, but now it's pretty much over. And notice the temperatures are warmer to the south. We're in the chilly 40s, but of course we're not having to worry about any kind of frozen precipitation, and I've told you you wouldn't have to, and that's pretty much the case. Let's look at precipitation from the Kentucky mesonet sites over the past 24 hours. Half inch there about in Franklin, almost that much in Scottsville, but almost 3/4 of an inch of rain at the mesonet site near Tompkinsville in Monroe County, 3/10 of an inch over in Metcalf, 3/10 in Barron, and an average of 3/10 of an inch of rain here in Warren County and the Bowling Green area. Lighter amounts to the north, about 2/10 Grayson and Butler counties, and there's a 41 hundredths of an inch of rain near Elkton in Todd County. So lighter amounts to the north, a little bit more in the way of a quarter to a half inch plus across southern Kentucky, extreme southern Kentucky, near the Tennessee border. And that's the past 24 hours. So some of you picked up a little bit of decent rainfall, not a lot of rainfall, but just enough to say, hey, yeah, it rained. And it rained okay here this morning. It rained enough to wet the streets and get things a little wet for this morning, but overall, not that bad. All right, let's take a look at the maps, and I'll go the high res rapid refresh resolution here, just to give you an idea. Let me cut down on some of these layers here because those tend to get in the way sometimes. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so here we are with the current setup, and again, we're still seeing the mostly zonal flow here from the west all the way to the east. So that has not changed all that much. We have the showers here that are leaving the area, and these are going to continue to push off to the north and east. Low pressure systems setting over Tennessee are going to also move east over time and northeast away from us. Put this into motion. You can see the showers, but still some leftover drizzle at times today. Now, notice that blue line. That is the dividing line between the warm air and the cold air. Starts to dip a little bit closer to southern Kentucky, pushing further south the warmer air, or the more spring-like air is probably the best way to put it. So we're going to get another taste of winter weather here shortly. This is as we head into about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock this evening. And we're going to start to, as a cold front passes through, it is going to help usher in some of this more Canadian air, a bit of polar air. Yes, there's a low pressure system setting over the Great Lakes. You can see that one there with the tight wind spinning that air around and trying to bring some of that colder air into the area. So the dip in the jet stream here is warranted, and it's going to make us rather chilly the next couple of days. Here's tomorrow. Now, the high res model is wanting to output maybe a sprinkle or even a flurry across the Ohio River as that low sits and spins over Lake Michigan. It will be sometimes a little breezy tomorrow, and I cannot rule out a sprinkle, but for the most part, it's just going to be mainly cloudy, some drizzle maybe even this evening into early tomorrow, and then this would be pretty much over. So don't expect much in the way of sunshine today. Cloud cover is going to hold tight, and there's your big dip in the jet stream. Look at that. Wow. That goes all the way down into Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas, even Arkansas and Oklahoma. That low and that more polar air really just, as that low continues to travel off to the north, just brings in that colder air. And you see here some blue in Kentucky. That would indicate tomorrow at some point, again, drizzle or a passing flurry. That would be close to tomorrow evening, 2300 UTC. That's going to be about what, 4 or 5 o'clock, 6 tomorrow evening, close to when the models do the reset. It, and this is short term, okay? Again, this is short term. This is not going to be anything that's going to be long term, but it is going to feel much colder as we get into Monday night and into Tuesday. Look at that. That's a dive. Boy, that's a good dive. We haven't had something like this in weeks and months. So it is going to be colder. I use the word cold. As you know, it's going to be one of those times when you will have to cover your plants, bringing them indoors. If they're not very hardy, you're going to have to protect them some way or another if you've already set them out for the spring growing season. Remember my rule of thumb, which my grandfather told me years ago. Uh, don't plant anything outdoors you want to lose until after Derby, the first Saturday in May. And this is only March. Okay. The calendar may flip to spring, but we've had some below freezing temperatures, not only in March, but also in April. So we still have a way to go. So don't get ahead of the game. You may lose a plant or two if you leave them just sitting out. All right, the maps here showing the conglomeration of low pressure and these little straws, these little disturbances. That's going to move out pretty quickly. We've got a dry front that's going to come in. This is what's going to usher in that more Canadian air. It's going to really fall apart as it starts to move in. But with this pinwheeling low over Lake Michigan, it's going to throw another straw, as you see, another little piece of energy on the backside of it, along with some breezy conditions. And that's going to hit us tomorrow. And that's why tomorrow is actually going to be cooler than today. And then that's why when the sky's clear, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, we get some frosty situations, freezing as well. So here we go into Monday, midday. There's that little maybe some light flurries mixed in to the north of us. Not a big deal. Some of it, as it warms up, turns back to just sprinkles or drizzle. Here we go into Tuesday. Pretty good. High pressure sitting over us. Pretty sprawling, big high pressure over us on Wednesday. Looks like a good day. Then as we get into Thursday, here's the next system approaching with a warm front, actually a couple of warm fronts, and overrunning moisture coming up. Pacific moisture to start because of that flow coming out off the coast of California. They come across and then they start to tap into Gulf moisture because high pressures to the east, and then we get that flow out of the south. So we're going to warm up, and then we're also going to get a little wet, as you see here, as the front comes through on Friday, about midday Friday, early morning, midday. By Saturday, it's gone. It is going to be a fairly nice but chilly weekend. Coming up next weekend, as I said, look at that big high pressure. Strong. 1,028 millibars. Pretty strong. And that's going to make for some chilly air for the weekend upcoming. And then temperatures will get as chilly as we're looking at like for tomorrow, which is like mid 40s. But then we warm up right back after that, as you saw in the 10-day model blender. So these little hits of chilly air, short windows, temporary hits, and then they're gone. And then we warm back up. And then here comes another little one. I don't know how many more of those we've got, but the deeper into March and the closer to April we get, those will start to gradually go away with the kind of pattern that we're seeing right now. All right, that will do it for our weather update for this Sunday morning, March 12th. Thanks as always to all of you for watching and just supporting. I don't need your money. But when I say support, you just watch it every day and you depend on it and you're loyal to it. And I appreciate that very much. And Ace Hardware Marketplace. That's the place for whatever you need. And they support this Sam Channel weather as well. And I do appreciate that. All right. Make it a great Sunday. God bless you. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you right back here tomorrow morning.